All right, so before we get started with Try Django 1.9, there's a few things that I want to talk about prior to actually jumping in. Now, the first thing is actually getting your system set up. Now, of course, if you go to joincfe.com/projects #setup, it's going to take you to the system setup links, which is right here. So you're going to want to make sure your system's set up. That is definitely something that you'll always want to do, and you can do it right here on codingforentrepreneurs.com. This is just a shortcut, and it will take you there faster. That's all. But it takes you to the exact same spot that we are right now, but then it just redirects the URL. So that's something you'll definitely want to go through. And along those same lines is we do have a guide on our GitHub, and that's joincfe.com/GitHub. If you go here, it's going to take us to our main repository page, and you can click on the guides repository. If it's not in popular repositories, just click on repository here, and then you can search either find repository, just type out guides, or you can just click on one of them that will actually be the guides themselves. So this right here, we have an installation guide. We have a few other guides on here that might be useful for you as well, but the main installation guides for Python and Django, these are the ones that you're going to want to work through in conjunction with these videos. If you're having any issues with the videos whatsoever, definitely check out the guides, because the guides are definitely going to be the most up to date, because it's really easy to change small little text things in a text guide versus in a video. So the guides themselves are also a lot more user friendly, because then you can just copy and paste some of the code. Okay, so that's it as far as the guides and the installation is concerned. Next is actually going through the project. Now, if we go back into our Coding for Entrepreneurs repository, you'll notice that there are other kinds of popular repositories, one of them being Try Django 1.8. Now, if you remember, we're doing Try Django 1.9. It's just a different version of Django, but we're going to be talking about different topics that are done in Try Django 1.8. So after you finish this one, or before, you can actually check out Try Django 1.8, because there will be a little bit of overlap, but it's not going to be a whole lot of overlap, because we're building just a different project in each one. And the thing about the actual GitHub repository is it has all of the source code available on there. Now, when I say source code, I mean the code that we actually write when we build this project. It's kind of like saying that I have the Word document available for an ebook that I'm writing. It's very similar. We're going to be typing a lot of code, and we're going to be actually writing it out, which you'll see very soon. And all that tutorial code is going to be available on our GitHub in a very similar manner as Try Django 1.8. Now, by this time, you might actually be able to go to the Try Django 1.9 repository and see all the same sort of things, but for the purposes of this video, it's going to look very, very similar to this Try Django 1.8 stuff. Just slightly different, and of course, the actual name of the tutorial code is going to be also different. Now, what we see here, this has to do with the name of the title of the lecture, right? So if the lecture says template configuration, this is going to be the code that's finished at the end of that lecture. So you watch template configuration, whatever that code is, that's what's going to be available. Now, it becomes a little bit more important as we get down in the code. So like, logo, image, and navbar, if I clicked on that, this is going to be the code at the very end of that video. So you can actually come in here and click on source and just go through the different things for the code specifically, right? So like we have head head_css.html. That might not be anywhere else. We have navbar, and this is the one with the image, right? So this is the code that is likely referencing from the video itself. But again, this is stuff that we'll be doing in the video, so you will be able to see it in real time. But this is the code that you can actually just copy and paste. So if there's some syntax errors, or you miss a quote or like a bracket or something like that, using the GitHub code is very important for that. And it's not just for this project, it's for all of our projects. We're happy to say that all of our projects are open source. So every single project that we bring out, whether or not you watch the video or not, the code is there and you can learn from it, and also ask questions about it. And then finally, if you do have any questions, please ask those questions inside of the video, because it helps other people benefit from it as well. In some cases, we'll ask you to email us if it's getting kind of outside the scope of those comments, but for the most part, we would love it if you just ask those questions inside of the videos themselves. And then finally, we're going to be using Sublime Text as our text editor. This is one of many different Python text editors that you can use. But in our case, we want to use Sublime Text because I think it's one of the best ones out there. And this is not like an affiliate of ours or anything. There's just so much that they have going for it that make it a really, really awesome software that you can use. And unfortunately, the full version, quote unquote full version, is not free, but the trial version is really, really good. So you actually don't have to buy the free version, the full version. In fact, the trial version is the full version, except the full version doesn't nag you. So basically, you can download this and use it as much as you'd like, but it's going to nag you constantly to upgrade if you don't upgrade, which you won't see in our videos because we have upgraded, because this software is definitely worth it. And it's nice to give back to the developers that actually built this. Again, it's not an affiliate. They would not work with me on an affiliate because they have such an awesome product. People love talking about it, including myself. All right, so if you do have any questions on this before we actually get started stuff, let us know. Otherwise, let's continue on and actually get started in this Django 1.9 project. See you then.